All right. Hey, continuing our chromosome talk. Our genetics with chromosomes intertwined there talk here with Thomas Hunt Morgan. And maybe, shouldn't say maybe, probably is the most influential person when it comes to chromosomes. His studies were 1902 and 1907, so a ways after Mendel. Mendel's got this genetic thing figured out, but they don't know. He didn't know the word genes. He didn't have any of that stuff. It was just like, hey, there's these factors that are moving back and forth. Um, Thomas Hunt Morgan is the one that studied fruit flies, and he put he was able to come up with conclusive evidence that those factors, or what we call genes, are in fact located on chromosomes. We knew chromosomes were there. We knew that there's a certain number in every species, but we didn't necessarily know their function. Remember, we don't know what DNA is yet at this point. But Thomas Hunt Morgan, studying fruit flies, which have 4 chromosomes, was able to determine how, in fact, how genes were inherited on those. All right. So a big step there and an important name to throw in there. With the idea that he brought into it, and he was skeptical of the research. And then after doing thousands of experiments on fruit flies here pictured, you realize, hey, wait a minute, those factors are in fact on chromosomes. So human chromosomes, we should know some of these things. First up, a karyotype is a picture of chromosomes. Here's a look at just a picture, not arranged anything there, but you can see underneath the microscope, a powerful enough microscope with the right stains involved. Humans, we know that a healthy human has 46 chromosomes per cell. 2 of these are sex chromosomes. All right, so XX for female sex chromosomes, XY for male chromosomes. The other 44 chromosomes are known as autosomes. All right, this is something, with gender identification being a big topic in today's world. We're talking about just biologically, how how people are and the chromosomes that you have. Now, there are different things within biology that maybe you don't have the same number of sex chromosomes. Maybe there are certain genes that are turned on and off that are preventing things from developing, and et cetera. So it is a little bit of a murkier picture, but for the vast majority of human beings, XX is female and XY are males. We know that genes are located on those chromosomes. Um, that was what Thomas Hunt Morgan figured out. And we know that there are some genes that are located on the sex chromosomes. All right. Yes, there are instructions to make male and female on there, but they're also just genetics for different parts of your body. Genes that are inherited on the X chromosome may affect boys differently from girls, because if you are a girl, you get 2 copies of that X chromosome. Boys, we just get 1. All right. We call those genes sex-linked genes. The importance is the Y chromosome is really small, so it essentially only has enough information to build a male. All right, that's essentially all that's on the Y chromosome. So if you inherit a harmful X chromosome, ladies, you have a chance of having a healthy X chromosome to overpower that or to hide that. Where boys, we just get the 1 shot for X chromosome. So genetically, men are a little weaker than females, genetically health speaking, because we don't have as much genetic material, and we're more likely to inherit some disorders on that X chromosome. One of them being hair loss is strongly associated with that. So the baldness gene is there, and so men are more likely to inherit that. Color blindness is also inherited there. All right, so almost 100% of colorblind people are male because it's inherited on the X chromosome. For these Punnett squares, we're going to start off with those X's and Y's and include those in everything that we do, and then attach those genes next to them. Okay, so when we attach those genes next to them, it shows us not only dominant, recessive, heterozygous, homozygous, but also male, female is how that works there. Notice how the Y chromosome doesn't have anything on it. The Y is tiny. It can't carry any genes. Different colorblind tests, if you want to check those out as you're looking through. An example one would be, or a good example would be hemophilia. That is one that has been in the royal family. Way back when, royal families tended to interbreed too much. You know, they didn't want to mix their royal blood with the peasant blood, and so they tend to marry like cousins and stuff too much. And so this disease has actually been passed around the royal family because their gene pool was too small a couple hundred years ago. But hemophilia, it's a bleeder's disease. It means your blood doesn't clot normally. So a small cut can actually cause you to bleed out. Nowadays, we have artificial medicines and proteins that you can take. But back then, it was a life threatening illness. If you look here, females have 3 different ways they could inherit it. They could be carriers, they could be normal, or they can be hemophiliacs. And males is just one or the other. So as you're looking at, here's a look at a male that's normal and a female that's a carrier. Both parents are perfectly normal. However, there's a 1 in 4 chance that they have a son with hemophilia. All right, based on their Punnett square. I like having that in there because it shows you kind of what we're expecting for Punnett squares on this unit. Their look, like I said, here's that royal family pedigree charts there. I think where's the issue here? This person there. Those are 2 cousins there that are passing their genes along. So should have expanded the gene pool there. We wouldn't have to worry about these males as much in there as they're going. So Duchenne muscular dystrophy works the same way. And our last example today are sex-linked traits in cats. All right, kind of a crazy one, but coat color for cats is co-dominant, meaning that if you have 2 black genes, you have a black cat. 2 orange genes is an orange cat, and a black and an orange gene is a calico cat. Right, so it's going to be this picture down here on the right, or a look like that. All calico cats are females. How do we know that? Because that gene color is on the X chromosome, and the only way to get 2 copies of it is to be a female and have 2 different copies there. So kind of interesting look there. That'll be on your assignment for the day as well. All right. And we're going to stop there for the day. A nice long look at sex-linked traits.